can paint on panels, you can paint on wood, you can paint on canvas. However, the difference between oil paint and normal paint is that you have to prepare this panel. Otherwise, if you do not do so, the oil will go into the wood or into the canvas and the color is gone. So this is a mixture of glue and with chalk called gesso. This is the old way how they, from the Middle Ages, prepare the panels for oil paint. Why do you use oil paint? Oil paint stays a long time wet. That gives the painter the time to go exactly to detailed things that look like real good. In those days, normal people had no education, so anything that a priest or white guy could tell others was pictures. Therefore, if you have a good picture, it means you're powerful. You let them see it. However, get back to the technique, you know that now. But also, if you're trying this on a white field, are you a sportsman or not? Well, okay, should as most of you are, some not. If you're in the middle of the field, in the middle of this, you have all the space around it to move ahead, and you need it if you want to be creative. If I stand in the corner, then here I'm narrowed, here I've got a space, but you're out of balance. Every quarterback knows that, every basketballer knows that, every football knows that, hockey or whatever you play. And even if you do hiking, the more space you got, the more you can choose. Your path is narrow, you have to go forward, backwards, that's it. So I don't use white. And most of these people don't use white. In the history, Michelangelo started with brown. Rembrandt started with brown. Brown, if you take black and white from the color, is in the middle of gray. So that means you can go to white, you can go to black. So your playground is good and brown and big. Why brown? Why not orange or so? If you take a black and white photo of orange, then it's far more lighter, so there you have the trouble that your place is narrowing again. Brown is something in the middle. Therefore, most of the colors are built up in brown. The book I'm going to show you in place is also built up in brown. It shows like that. Just a second. Before I'm going to tell you about the story of this, you see here on the left page 3 panels, 3 canvases. It's over here. They're all brown. This is traditional painting I show you. And I'll show you also how, by an error, so to speak, I got into something new. Traditional painting is you start with color brown, you make a design, build it up to color, background, foreground, it's all created, you have a lot of space. And the more time you have, while these oil paints is wet, the more realistic you can paint the story. And that's important. If I'm a pope and I'm having a lot of cardinals in my church and saying, hey, we're going to rebuild the world, you better come with realistic painting. If you have something, hey, is that Jesus? Look like it. I'm sorry, sir, I had to do it in 2 days. The colors were dry already. So you have to be there. Good, thank you. It's not a joke. I'm serious. What I'm telling you about this, Van Gogh did it, Rembrandt did it, Michelangelo did it, even Edward Hopper did it, you name it, did it. This triptych is about Ascot. Is that a familiar theme for you guys? Ascot. Ascot is a horse race in England. It's about an hour. And Ascot is the 3rd day, they call it Ladies' Day. The Queen is attending. Everybody is dressed up with hats, as we are living in the 80s. The English do right now. They have their own traditional style of life. And everybody is colored and there and wants to be there and wants to be seen. this royal enclosure with a queen. Can buy a ticket? Yes, yes. Several times by members only. However, I'm not so interested in the persons, I'm more interested in the rhythm. Rhythm of heads, colored put together, like this. You see that? You see that this is not exactly a group thing of persons, it is a color pattern, so to speak. I'm interested in all these heads, all these colors, all these forms, and I wanted to paint the painting triptych Day in the Races, the third day, the ladies' day, aspect, the following way, the traditional way. And now we're getting into mistakes. Mistakes, I would say, is the very bare ground of nice painting, of being creative. Okay, at the end, maybe in my last years I could say, he is the famous painter who did that. No, it went by accident. That's all it is. And that means that you have to be honest about yourself. You have to be sensitive. If you go the wrong way about in the space, you take the wrong path, and something is trying to falling apart, you say, oh dear, what I'm doing. Take a walk, look at that again, and say, hey, there's something in it I can use. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. So learn from your faults. That's the main thing about painting. And use it. Use what you have to make it done wrong. Not that you have done right, because you know it already. That's nothing new. You would repeat yourself endlessly again with boring painting. Every painting you see here from my hands is a struggle. It doesn't come easy. However, it's very joyful. An adventure. You never know what's around the corner. You see something, can you use it? Is it something that is a surprise, or is it just not something? That makes me worth going on with painting. That's the motivation. Now that you see how it's built up. The painting, start with you, is filled in with colors. Here you have original thing, like that, and you build it up. You build it up. You go like that. And further on, am I too fast going? Have a look. See, that, I don't need to give any comment on this. This is what you all can see what it's about. At the end, you have a painting that looks like this. These three little pages are the horseman in the middle, and the side panels are the public. This is a painting with the size of this, from that size to that size. It's big. And if you want to see it a little bit more detailed, take a look at this. These are the side panels. This is the middle panel. Middle panel. See here, this is the side panel. Here you see the rhythm again from all these colorful hats. Not north anymore. Here it is. This is the middle panel. Nothing new about this. This is a traditional way of painting. Colorful but traditional. But halfway the process, you miss something. An error. What happened is that halfway, painting the horses, the middle panel, I dripped the white spirit glass and the horses. By accident, the lady deliberately put it down on the ground. See, here is that horse. Here's the face.
This is a, excuse me, paint thinner?
Yeah. So what I do is this. So that's this is happening. This is my painting. I lay it down. I'm angry. There's something wrong. That was the initial thing that happened. At that time, I drew like this. The accident was incorporated in the new system. Why do I do this? Explain. To make these middle side thing work, like it is like here, you see that the jockeys on them are sharply painted, but the horses are, at least down under, they're almost nothing but just vague things. You can see this as a way how to suggest movement, motion. Yeah, blurry. What we are doing is I'm playing with your brains. If you see something blurry, oh, I can see it again. I do it in one painting. And I'll let you go from a blurry thing to something right, but I want to say you a garden. If I would paint only a garden, you could say, oh, you've done well, or you've done it's nothing at all. But what I want to do, get you into this. See you painting and crawl in it. Oh, you see that. So, what I discovered here with the horses, that technique, there. And there's something else. And that's really a stupid reason. Now you have to see. Look at this. This is a palette. You see all the colors are right covered each other. Light colors, dark colors together. Going too fast. Light and dark colors. Here you have to look at it. That is because if you are painting in here and you use right color blue, there's nothing to it. But if you don't, you have a real mistake because all these hats, you have to wait for it to dry and go on. It takes a lot of area. Over here, this is the last, and you have to paint here. Here you can find out what kind of wood I should take in this painting. However, after a day, all these colors are dry, or you can't use them anymore. I have to throw them away. To make a pattern like that, it takes you 1 or 2 hours. So all this time, you can only use it in the painting for just a few spots, and you have to throw it away. Hell, what I do with this? I took a palette knife, and I made it large, very large ball with pencils. And here I have some little examples of it. They make you think maybe of a late Monet. Yeah. You see that? But for me, it's an underground to paint a painting like this. You can't see it here, but you sure can see it here. Now look at this. Do you see? You're under, and of course, the birches, the same technique. So you here abstract, and here you figure it away. I want you exactly the same way that I do with a floating technique that you create into this painting. So to speak, here you have all your horizon lines, and here you have the verticals, and here I let some space open, and here break a line. I want you to go up. I want you to discover, like a child, landscape painting, crawling through the grass on the low left to the high right. Okay, what makes me a little bit different than traditional painting is that I do the traditional setup by implementing this floating technique and also this palette knife technique. I'm taking another look at this painting. Yeah, move there. I can make it. Here you can see the dots here are also with other dots. And it's a pattern sort of matrix. You can use it as an underground, but you can also use it as an underpainting put together. Here you can see it's sharp, here it's fake. So you see, hey, slowly going up, up, and up, and I'm making the move I want you to make. Go to depth. Make the adventure, make it voyage, like I did. Any questions about this so far?
I just want to make sure I'm following. So you create this, which is just the background.
Yeah.
And then from that, you turn it into this.
This is one of the possibilities. That's the possibility I use for the painting behind you. This is a combination technique. Here's the lip. I did this on the ground, white spirit or whatever on it, wiggle the giggle, let it down. If you see my floor in my studio, it's all spotted with all kind of colors. A blind man would see his way right through it. However, it has no use to clean out because next time, next problem. But there are several ways to use it. So by playground, grow and grow, not only in 2 dimensions, but also in 3, by using different techniques. Allowed me to restore the world, abstract painting, and bring it back to the figurative painting. With the figurative, we have common ground to speak about. Is this white painted right? Is this house painted right? Is that a real man or a real animal? Kind of stuff. Yeah. But I let you dream on a personal way to it. And everybody has some feeling about it, but you ask them, what do you think? I think, oh, I see this. Oh, we defer in that. But at the end, thanks. If you have more questions.
How long does it take to paint a painting like
Well,
this?
as you can imagine, it has to lie on the floor for 48 hours to get dry. After that, the paint has to be restored with varnish so that it's smooth and clean. Then I set it up with a drawing that's with a floating. Then it has to be incorporated with the floating technique itself. The figurative part has to follow, or otherwise it's floating technique follow the figurative technique. That's the balance. You find out your way. There's always the new thing that's around the corner. It's only about in the beginning. If you found the right balance, then you can say, what should pop out? Should it be popping out? Okay, that's a choice. We have to make choices in life. What kind of car you buy, sir? No, it's the car that I buy. They're both cars. You can drive one. It's something about, it says about your taste, about who you are, what you like. So, same with painting. I'll give you a vague but clear answer, maybe. Thank you. Are there any more?
Tom, I have a question.
Okay.
So, just from your book, it looks like you moved from kinetic type of, paintings, meaning horses, jockeys, to something much more static and stationary.
Yeah.
And you move from things that are very discrete to suggestive to me.
Yeah.
Do you see your evolution continuing to move more
Yeah.
towards abstract and less discrete, drawing on your classical training and moving towards, it looks like, you talk about how you direct the viewer towards your painting.
The general direction is not a straight line from figurative to abstraction or back and forth. No, it's also you have to be honest about it. Sometimes you take a subject that isn't so easy to paint in this, so to say, scheme, this choice. So you start with a traditional way of painting and you adjust the techniques. And sometimes it ends up as misery, it won't work sometimes. Most of the times, and that's where you do it, you can do it. However, to give you the right answer, the normal thing is, if you start to work, you want to do everything need by the book. You need the book. You need the regulations that says you should do this, you should march like that, be polite, then you are within the system. But if you want to be personal and still being in the system, means that you're accepted as a painter, so to speak, but still with your own opinion, and you can try to reach people and you succeed in that, then you have a little bit more factors that need to be discovered and need to be internalized in your system. And that takes time. So the older you get, you all have the experience, like no matter what age you are, you all have your personal way of living. You found it. And it's about balance. You find that your personal way. And therefore, it's a pleasure being a painter and telling you this. But the best thing is take a look at yourself in the paintings, and hopefully you see that. Thank you. Anybody else?
Just how many paintings are you working on at the same time? Like the color palettes of the two behind you are highly similar, and these two going left to right?
Yeah,
rather than the
you're
vertical
quite right,
lines,
sir.
or-
It's a right observation. Normally I do 5, 6 together in a series, so to speak. And two goes to here to Milwaukee, the other goes to New York, the other goes to Amsterdam, so to speak. They're all things, they're original. No, sir, it's a part of the series. So that's what it is.
So do you ever paint the winter scenes concurrent with other scenes?
Yeah, summer and winter, everything goes together because the last touches of what I do with the brushes and so on, that defines what's really going to be, what's above the horizon, where the path I want to lead you to the goal. The ultimate thing, we're going to find common ground. That's, for me, coming in detail. What in the beginning was a world to conquer, with all the regulations and so on. At the end, it's just a detail. Oh yeah, keep right. Traffic. Oh yes, I'm sorry. If you walk in the woods, you don't. All right, you have to do it in the city because otherwise you're dead. So the necessity of following these regulations are depending on where you are. But it's also depending on what stage you are, mindset. Does that answer you?
Yeah, thank you.
Question, what do you use to apply the paint onto the canvases most of the time? I see brush, I see knife. Are there other things that you use to apply?
Well, there are artists who use all kind of materials, but for me, oil paint as itself, as medium, is the best way to do it because oil paint has all facilities in it. You can easily combine it with other colors and so on, with acrylic, combine it with the underground you painted, and you have enormous you have brushes, palette knives. You have many tools to work with. So you have the play field, talking about big play field. So that if you are looking for the discovery way, okay, take the canal that you can go forward or backwards. If you take a sea, and that's oil paint for me, so to speak symbolically. For me, oil paint is, so to speak, the sea, and for me, watercolors, how beautiful they are, or just a sketch with crayon. Nothing to say that it's not good, but for my way of living, for my way of painting, it narrows my mind. I need a broad sea.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's in your mind.
When I look at pointless painting, sometimes I squint, just to blend everything together and get a better idea of the overall concept. Is that part of your?
Well, you see, I use primalistic techniques in it because if you combine palette knife stroke, which is very hard, or these floating elements, then the material competition between the two of it to it is easily can be bridged by Primalistic techniques, so to speak. Intelligent remark, I forgot about that. So, if you paint the blue between the two words flat, you keep seeing it as two words. But with a raster, matrix, so to speak, with dots, you see through them, and that allows your mind to take them together. Thank you for asking that. I'm sorry.
I know I'm kind of going backwards with the horses, but I found when you said you just drop them, it kind of gets boring. The first set of horses, you know, like they were just, they could be statues.
Yeah.
But then when you did the other thing and you blurred it a little bit, okay, the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness were a couple of weeks ago. But that technique shows such motion. I mean, it's like those horses are running. And I couldn't believe the difference between the one and the other. And, wow. And I hate horses. But I like pictures of them.
Okay.
I do.
Curious.
So, you know, is that how you felt about it too? You were
Well, I'm not a horseman myself too. I look at them as a carrier of people who than so many people would have. If they were looking at some kind of blind spot, or what, so to speak, and they were dressed like that wasn't enough for me. But with a horse came the movement, and that's why I like horses. I'm not a horseman, that's something I don't like, but they are a nice combination.
I love that. I just think it's so, it's kind of electric, you know, you're not expecting. You're not expecting that, you know. But thank you for doing that.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Here's a bottle of wine
See there a sunset and with light in the water, and you see a man dragging one or two suitcases, and he's not actually looking at the sunset, but he is looking more or less at the step because it's snow there, he might tumble. And if you take a closer look at the end of the path, you see a little house. And that's why I call it Homeward Bound. Homeward Bound is a famous song with Art Garfunkel, Simon Garfunkel, so to speak, 70s, late 60s, British over troubled water. However,
But you didn't sing those
there is
things.
something else, some more symbolic in it. If you take Homeward Bound, you always, okay, I can imagine at your age, you have the feeling, okay, I do it completely different as my parents did. I want to change it, I have my own style, you're right, entitled to it. At some age, you think, okay, it wasn't so bad after all. Some things you were right about. And then you make your own twist, your own life out of it, but you have your origins and you are you, and your genes are found back home. So if you're really returning to your roots, so to speak, and everybody knows that expression, after a long way of experiments and so on, you pull your own experience with you as a burden baby, or maybe as a good thing. I can tell you that. You have to find out for yourself. So if you're homeward bound, you always go back to your roots, so to speak, and you drag along suitcases with your experience. So that's the deeper meaning of the painting.